Thanks to all of you, this has been a momentous year. A year in which the Green Party has taken its place at the forefront of British politics. A year in which young people, in particular, have embraced our message of hope and real change. A year in which nearly 300,000 people joined together to help ensure we took our place in the national leadership debates. And this is a year in which we are matching and often exceeding the Lib Dems, a party of government, in the national polls. And a year in which we have become the third largest political party in England and Wales. In the space of just 12 months, we've grown from 13,000 members to 55,000 members. But of course, Conference, today's speech is not addressed to you alone. It's also for voters across the country. Because one thing that the Green Surge means is that you will have more than a 90% chance of being able to vote Green on the 7th of May. For some, that means the first ever chance to vote Green. Vote can change the face of Britain. It can end the failed austerity experiment, the spiteful blaming of the poor, the sick and the vulnerable for the mistakes of the wealthy. This election can be a turning point in history, the moment where we can deliver a better Britain, a Britain that works for all of its people, a Britain which cares. Vote for what you believe in. Vote for the policies of hope, not fear. Vote for the policies that work for the common good, not the few. And Britain could be a very different country on the 8th of May. The Green Party can be the agents of change, real change, because it's time for the politics of the future. The politics of the future delivers a living wage, provides jobs that workers can build a life on, and ensures that those who need help receive the support they need. The politics of the future delivers public services run for the good of all. Our railways run not for shareholders, but for passengers. Our NHS not handed over to the profiteers, but kept in public hands. The politics of the future delivers social housing, council housing, meets our housing needs. The politics of the future delivers for everyone. That's the politics of the future. That's the politics of the Green Party. Because no one should be living in fear of not being able to put food on the table. No one should be forced into debt just because they're trying to get an education. No one should be worrying about a fracking drill burrowing into the heart of their community. And no one should fear being left destitute by Ian Duncan Smith's punitive benefit sanctions. The politics of the future is not a politics of transaction, that discredited politics which offers selected groups and individuals a bribe, a short-term, unsustainable personal advantage. History tells us that is now the old politics, the tired politics, the failed politics. The Green Party is offering instead a society working for all of us, a society that works for the many, not just the few, a society in which those who can contribute do so, and no one in need goes without. It asks voters to make a choice that will deliver a society fit for themselves, for their communities, and for their children. That's why the Green Surge is much, much more than a hashtag, although it's been a very successful hashtag. And of course, we saw it last May with the election of Molly Scott-Cato as the first Green member of the European Parliament. Now, five years ago, we made a huge breakthrough with the election of Caroline Lucas as the first Green MP. And she's given Brighton spectacularly good local representation and a national impact far beyond any other MP. Caroline's led on debates on issues from railway ownership to statutory personal and social education. She's led on the debate on parliamentary democracy, and she's put her freedom on the line to oppose fracking. Your commitment, your belief, your dedication, your hard work, that we approach the general election as a central player in British politics. And of course, it isn't just the Green Party. Up and down the country, campaigns demanding a new politics are getting stronger, getting bigger, getting more effective. The tide is growing, the demand for change is louder and clearer. At last, the people are fighting back. On the 8th of May, just imagine a strong Green group of MPs at Westminster. A group which would never, ever support a Conservative government. A strong group of Green MPs in a Parliament where they could have a huge say, a huge impact, a real opportunity to start to deliver that new kind of politics. We know that the way things are in Britain is not sustainable. Continuing as we are isn't an option. Since 2000, food prices have risen 22%, but wages have fallen 7%. Almost 700,000 people are listed as in work, despite having no guaranteed hours week to week. It's time to end the scourge of 0 hours contracts. Almost half the new jobs created since 2010 are for the self-employed, yet nearly 80% of self-employed workers are living in poverty. I applaud the growing number of individuals who contribute to, who work in, who run food banks. But individual charity is no substitute for collective justice. This is the outcome of the years of Blair, of Brown, of the Cameron-Clegg coalition, and austerity Britain. This is the record of George Osborne's long-term economic plan. The Green Party are calling time on the politics of low wages, job insecurity, and fearing the food bank. We're calling time on privatisation, the selling off and the handing over of public assets into private hands. The whole ideology of Thatcher and her successors, be it Blair, Brown or Cameron, has failed. Change has to come. The market is short-sighted and short-term. It is blind. It is senseless. It works for the 1%. It fails for the rest of us. All in it together? I don't think so. The current model of economics and society has served only those with power and wealth. In austerity Britain, the super-rich grab more than anywhere else in Europe. We must be first and foremost citizens, paying fairly to common funds to look after the poor, the weak, the sick, the old. Everyone contributes what they can, and everybody benefits from that. This is what the politics of the future will look like. This is what the Green Party will deliver. The failed politics of letting the market rule has to end. And there's nowhere that's more obvious than in our NHS. the insidious but rapid infiltration of the profit motive into our health service, the dreadful, senseless PFI schemes that deliver despair and threaten bankruptcy must be reversed. The market in the NHS costs us big time. In 2010, the Health Select Committee reckoned it consumed 9% of total NHS costs, well over £10 billion a year. That's why I'm delighted that, as Caroline has already said, we are leading not just on repealing the Health and Social Care Act, which is damaging and threatening our health service, but going further, working to replace it with an NHS reinstatement bill that removes the market mechanism from the NHS. But of course, there is another side to healthcare. Free healthcare is the very cornerstone of our NHS. Whether you're rich or poor, you get the same high quality of service, the best that is available. That's something that the Green Party will restore and extend. For that same principle should apply to social care. The support and the services that you need to lead a fulfilling life should be available when you need it, free at the point of use. We believe that to be a decent, humane, caring society, social care must be free. Now, we believe that those who have the most should contribute to help to pay for that social care. We need a range of new taxes aimed at making Britain a more equal society. We would introduce a new wealth tax, rigorously clamp down on tax evasion and avoidance, and introduce a financial transactions tax, a Robin Hood tax. And we are not ashamed to say that those earning more than £100,000 a year should pay more. Providing free social care for the over 65s means security and freedom from fear, suffering and loneliness for many. And it means 200,000 new jobs and training places. We'll consult experts, users and care workers on its exact design. But our manifesto will include this as a core pledge. Social care is not a privilege, it is a right. Now, we know that the younger generations, many of whom are supporting the Green Party, have it tough. But we acknowledge, we stress that this is not the fault of their elders. In a Britain of solidarity, in a Britain of community, in a Britain of care, we all need to look out for each other. And I really cannot stress this enough. We can only do this if you, the people of Britain, on the 7th of May, have your say. It's impossible to overstate the importance of each and every person who can vote, registering to do so and making their voice heard. The deadline is the 20th of April, but please don't wait. Register today. Only then can you help to deliver the politics of the future. Help us deliver for the common good. There are people who want to see business as usual politics continue. People who are happy with politicians who learnt nothing from the global economic crash. People who've quietly forgotten the scandal of MPs' expenses. Who are resigned to the failed austerity experiment, to low wages and the swift demise of public services. These people will probably vote for the politics of yesterday. To counteract them, we need you to use your vote. At this election, if we all vote Green, we can change Britain. Together we can create the society that we deserve, a society that cares, a society that works for all of us. So I say to you very simply, vote for the party that cares. Vote for the common good. Vote for the politics of the future. Vote Green!